Imagine stepping into a world where winter's icy grip could freeze rivers solid, where snow piled so high it buried entire villages, and there was no such thing as central heating or electric blankets. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Yet, medieval people not only survived these brutal winters, but thrived in ways that might shock you. Did you know they had tricks to stay warm that rival modern technology? Or that some of their methods are so effective you could use them today? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll discover 5 jaw-dropping ways medieval Europeans beat the cold, plus a surprising secret about their winter survival that'll leave you rethinking everything. Let's dive into the frozen past and uncover how they did it. Picture this. It's 1350, and you're standing in a small village in England. The wind howls like a pack of wolves, and the temperature has plummeted so low your breath turns to frost before it leaves your mouth. No thermostats, no radiators, no puffy jackets. How do you survive? Well, medieval people had a playbook for winter, and it started with their homes. They didn't just build houses, they engineered fortresses against the cold. Their secret weapon? Wattle and daub walls packed with straw and mud, creating insulation so effective it could keep a fire's heat trapped for hours. These walls were like the medieval version of a thermos, holding warmth in and keeping the biting wind out. But here's the kicker. They didn't stop there. They'd hang thick woolen tapestries over windows and doorways, creating a double barrier against drafts. Ever tried layering blankets on your windows during a cold snap? That's a trick straight out of the Middle Ages. What's your go-to way to keep your house warm in winter? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious if you've got any medieval-inspired hacks. Now, let's step inside one of these homes. You'd expect them to be freezing, right? Wrong. Medieval folks were obsessed with their hearths, and for good reason. The central fireplace wasn't just for cooking, it was the heart of the home, a roaring beast that could heat an entire room. They'd stack logs in a specific way, crisscrossing them to maximize airflow, and use slow-burning hardwoods like oak or ash to keep the fire going all night. Some families even slept near the hearth, soaking up every bit of warmth. But here's where it gets wild. They didn't waste a single spark. Ashes from the fire were collected and spread over floors to add an extra layer of insulation. Talk about recycling. Imagine if we used every part of our heating systems like that today. Have you ever tried a fireplace hack to stretch your heat? Share your thoughts below, because these medieval tricks might inspire you to rethink your setup. But what about when they had to leave the house? Winters didn't stop medieval life. Markets still buzzed and farmers still tended livestock. So how did they avoid turning into human icicles? Their clothing was a masterpiece of practicality. Forget flimsy cotton. They layered up with wool, linen, and even fur if they could afford it. Wool was the MVP, itchy, sure, but it wicks moisture and traps heat like nobody's business. A typical peasant might wear a linen undershirt, a woolen tunic, and a heavy cloak, all tied together with a belt to seal in warmth. Wealthier folks added fur-lined hoods or mittens, which were basically medieval versions of high-end ski gear. And here's a quirky fact. Some wore multiple pairs of socks, stuffing straw between layers for extra insulation. Sounds uncomfortable, but it worked. What's the weirdest thing you've worn to stay warm? Hit the comments and let's compare notes. Maybe you've got a trick as wild as straw-stuffed socks. Let's talk about something even cozier. Medieval bedding. You might think their beds were cold, hard slabs, but they went all out to make them toasty. Picture a wooden bed frame piled high with straw mattresses, woolen blankets, and furs. Some families even used a bed warmer, a metal pan filled with hot coals that they'd slide under the blankets to preheat the bed. It's like the medieval equivalent of an electric blanket, but with a lot more risk of setting your house on fire. And here's a fun tidbit. They often slept in groups, piling into one bed to share body heat. Whole families, sometimes even servants, would snuggle up together. Imagine trying that in your house today. It's a reminder that medieval people were resourceful, turning their own bodies into heaters. What's your secret to a warm night's sleep? Drop it in the comments, and let's see if any of us are sleeping like medieval royalty. Now, let's get to the food, because staying warm wasn't just about clothes and fires. It was about fueling the body. Medieval winters were long, and food was scarce, so they relied on hearty, heat-generating meals. Think steaming bowls of pottage, a thick stew packed with barley, beans, and whatever vegetables they'd preserved. Meat was a luxury, but when they had it, they'd roast it over the fire, letting the fat sizzle and add calories to keep them warm. Ale and mead were also winter staples, not just for fun, but because fermented drinks were safer than water and gave a quick burst of energy. Here's the surprising part. They believed spicy foods could heat the body from within, so wealthier households splashed out on expensive spices like pepper or cinnamon. It's like they were biohacking their body temperature. What's your favorite winter meal to stay warm? Share it below. I'm dying to know if you're channeling medieval vibes with your cooking. But surviving winter wasn't just about physical warmth. It was about community. Medieval villages were tight-knit, and winter was when they leaned on each other most. They'd gather in communal spaces, like a lord's hall or a church, to share heat, food, and stories. These gatherings weren't just practical. They boosted morale, reminding everyone they weren't facing the cold alone. Some villages even held winter festivals, with bonfires and dances to chase away the gloom. It's a stark contrast to our modern, isolated winters, isn't it? They knew that warmth came from connection as much as from fire. What's a winter tradition you have with friends or family? Pop it in the comments, because I bet some of you have rituals that echo these medieval gatherings. Let's zoom out and think about why this matters. Medieval people faced winters that make our worst snowstorms look like a light dusting, yet they didn't just survive. They adapted, innovated, and even found joy in the season. Their homes were built to trap heat. Their clothes were layered for maximum warmth. Their beds were cozy fortresses. Their food was fuel, and their communities were lifelines. But here's the secret I promised you. They didn't see winter as something to endure. They saw it as a challenge to conquer. That mindset, turning hardship into opportunity, is what kept them going. And it's a lesson we can steal today. Whether you're battling a cold snap or just trying to cut your heating bill, their tricks are proof you don't need modern tech to stay warm. So, what's the takeaway? Next time you're shivering, try a medieval hack. Layer up with wool, cook a hearty stew, or invite friends over to share the warmth. You might be surprised how well their methods work. And if you want more mind-blowing insights into medieval life, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Oh, and one last thing. I'm challenging you to try one of these tricks this winter. Maybe stuff some straw in your socks or pile into bed with your whole family. Whatever you do, let me know how it goes in the comments. I'm betting you'll have some hilarious stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.